Hey guys, Tori here from Overlook Horizon. We're here, we made it, we're live, we're ready to go. And I think we might get a hop today. A flight? What are we calling this? I don't even know what we're gonna call this here today, but it's looking real good. For the first time in a long time, I can't get some music I like. I think I've skipped like 4 songs. Anyways, I'm really excited about this. We're gonna get some, I wanted some exciting music here, but all these are a little bit too chill for me. Let me get, I got one for you. But anyways, we've got some tank farm activity. The recondenser is activated, which is good news, which means we're about 30 minutes away from launch. This is the closest we've been in the last week and a half. We had all kinds of drama. We had the FAA situation and everything about approvals and launching and static fires and wet dress rehearsals. It's been a ride, to say the least, over the last 2 weeks, waiting to see this happen. And I think for the first time, we're actually kind of close. Here, let me get this one. This is my, where is it? There it is. My Neon Renegade. The Neon Renegade. This is my pump-up jam. Here we go. Now we're, this is what I wanted. All right, there we go. I'm just having fun. I'm amped up. I'm excited. I'm excited to see this fly. This is so exciting. So I have the S Padre cam up here, which is a little bit blurry. We've also got access to use the NASA space flight cam, which looks like this one right here. Here's the view from my friends over at NASA Space Flight who let me use their feed as well. You can see we've got double starships here. That's pretty awesome as well. Let's see. Let's go back to this one. We're going to chat for a little while. I got a couple things to show while I'm bouncing off the walls while we're getting ready. But yeah, we're into propellant loading, which means we're about 30 minutes away. This is pretty exciting. So the first thing that I do want to do, we have this cool little infographic from my friend Jeff Barrett, who creates some pretty awesome infographics. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a Twitter following. He does all these sort of, he used to do static infographics. Now he's doing animated infographics. And so let's take a look at what we're on track for, courtesy of Jeff Barrett, who made this beautiful infographic about today's flight.
The next generation of spacecraft under development by SpaceX is set to conduct the second high-altitude test flight of its Starship system, aiming this time to reach 10 kilometers high. This time with Starship prototype serial number 9, or SN9, will attempt to make a soft landing near the launch site, hopefully completing that and not belly flopping and crash landing like last time. Starship is a fully reusable spacecraft and second stage of the Starship system. The intention is to offer an integrated payload section and is capable of carrying passengers and cargo to Earth orbit, planetary destinations, and between destinations on Earth. Starship SN8 lifted off from SpaceX's Cameron County launch pad on December 9th, 2020, and successfully ascended to 12.5 kilometers high, transitioned propellant and performed its landing maneuver with precise flap control to each its landing point. Low pressure in the fuel header tank during the landing burn led to high touchdown velocity, resulting in a hard and exciting landing. Starship SN9 has already completed a number of static fires, but due to engine issues has had to replace 2 of them and will be launching any day now, according to Elon Musk.
That's what's on track here for today. Thanks to Jeff Barrett. Go follow him at Jeff D. Barrett on Twitter. He makes some pretty awesome infographics. So that's what we have in store. So this is Starship. If you're not familiar with Starship, looks something like this. This is my 3D printed one. It's white, obviously not stainless steel, but Starship is a stainless steel rocket. This is only the second stage, and this is huge. So this is the second stage of the rocket that is test flying today. Again, it is a test flight, which means that it could crash and burn at the landing pad. Again, we had some drama last time. We've had some drama talking about the FAA, about the crash and burn. Now we have 2 of them out there. Is this going to be at risk? We don't know. It sounds like SpaceX is just going to go for it. I feel pretty good that SN10, which is the other one out there, so SN9 is on the right, SN10 is on the left. I feel pretty good about it, but obviously SN10 is in a little bit of danger there. It's inside the danger cone, as I called it. Danger cone is really the airspace restrictions area, the TFR area, the exclusion zone where all the people got to stay out. So basically, the higher up you go out in altitude, the farther out that debris could spread if something were to happen in flight. That's what I call the danger cone, is where that debris can spread. The blast zone, as Tyler Whitehead said. Exactly, Tyler. So yeah, it's in that. It's in the radius there, which is a little bit concerning, but hopefully we don't have to worry about that today. Now, if you remember last time, SN8 had a little bit of an issue keeping pressure in the methane header tank. So we'll look at another graphic here today. This is from Seabass Productions over on YouTube, who makes he's an amazing, like he's basically a magician. I mean, let's just face it, he's a magician. He makes these amazing 3D renderings. He allowed me to show this to you today here, but this is a 3D rendering of the Starship, and not just the Starship, but the inside of the Starship. So you get an idea. People keep talking about the methane header tank and, you know, what's losing pressure and things like that, but nobody really knows, like, what's inside. So we're taking a look here now, and what it's going to show is we've got the liquid oxygen, which is shown in blue here, and I believe he shows the methane in red here. So you've got the liquid oxygen tank that's at the bottom. Right there, that little circular orb there, that is the methane header tank, and that is used for landing. That's what lost pressure, that little small orb. So you got the main methane tank right above it, and then the liquid oxygen header tank is all the way up in the nose of Starship. And it's those header tanks that really had an issue during SN9. Those header tanks have to stay pressurized, but they use those little sub header tanks like that because during the belly flop, you can get the fuel will slosh around a little bit, and it's really difficult to get that fuel and that liquid oxidizer to the engines if it's sloshing around and it can't reach the plumbing there. So presumably, we don't really know the internal structure, but presumably there's a valve of some sort, like particularly with the methane one there, because it looks like they're both using the same downcomer pipe that runs down through the center of the liquid oxygen tank there. But so during flight, they're going to use the big tanks, the big methane header, the big methane tank, the big liquid oxygen tank. And once it does the belly flop, all that, anything that's left for fuel inside the main tanks is going to slosh to basically the sidewall. So it's going to go up like this. Once it comes here, any extra fuel is going to slosh around at the bottom here. You're going to have a real hard time getting to those downcomer pipes. So we are expecting to see, as it's showing in this animation, we're expecting to see engine outs again, which is what we saw during SN8 as well, meaning they're going to gradually shut down each engine as they get closer and closer to apogee here. Then it does the belly flop. Here you can see all the fuel, the liquid oxygen and that liquid methane at the bottom of the tanks there. Really difficult to try to push that out towards the engines for reignition, for the landing burn. So you can see why you would need those header tanks. And it's the red one that we're seeing here, the methane header tank, that is really what had an issue the last time around. So it lost pressure. They were using the methane to actually pressurize the tank, the methane itself. This time around, they're going to use helium. So they've switched to using helium instead of pressurizing the tank with the methane itself to try to make sure that that stays up to pressure. So that's what we're expecting to see roughly today with this 3D animation. And thanks again to Seabass Productions. It's Corey over there who let me use that graphic. Definitely check it out. I got a link down below so you can check out his channel, and please subscribe to him because he has some amazing animations, which is pretty awesome. All right, let's see. Let's get to a couple comments that I see here. I'll throw this one up. This is kind of I know this camera is not the best, but for administrative reasons, this is the one that I'm going to hang with for a bit. I'm not going to explain it in super detail, but we'll kind of switch back and forth between a bunch of this stuff. Let me see. I do want to get up over here. I got to open something on this other window. I have so many windows, so many monitors, which is really what you need in order to do all this, because I have to like stage the stuff that I'm going to show you up on the screen so I can have it ready to go. But I'm trying to get something else up here ready. Give me just a second. Then I'm going to get to your comments and we'll see. Okay, good. So we'll leave this up here for just a minute. Let me get to a bunch of comments. I saw some super chats come in. Thank you very much. I'll get to those first here, and we'll see what's happening. Holy smokes, a whole bunch of new members. That might have been when we switched over to members-only chat for a little while. We had a little bit of a spam issue going on, so we had to switch it over to members-only chat. But thank you to all the new members. I see Vice Deer, I'm butchering that one. Moose sent over a 99-cent super chat. Thanks, Moose. Appreciate that. Monkey DKS, that's I recognize the name. One of our Patreon members became a channel member here, or maybe YouTube channel member too. Thanks very much. Earth Engineer, new member. Thanks, Earth Engineer. Let's see, Levi, new member. KRST Girl, another new member. Thank you very much. Space Flight Bricks, a new member. That sounds counterintuitive. Are you going to space fly a brick? Or oh, I see this picture of the shuttle. Reference to the space shuttle, maybe? The flying brick? I get it. I get it now. I'm with you. That's Space Flight Bricks. Thanks very much for the support. Daniel Theron, thanks very much. Genesis, Philip Swanner, Ben Gilmore, Radioactive. You can make me sing the song with that name. And Adam Farmer, thanks very much. Oh, and Monkey DKS with a $50 super chat. Holy smokes. Dude, thank you so much. That's so generous. That's not necessary, but I really appreciate that. He says this. So Monkey DKS said, Tori, thanks for curating such a great community and for keeping us informed and entertained. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you, Monkey DKS. I really appreciate it. I know we've been chatting a bit over in our Discord, but thank you very much for the support. I'm glad you're enjoying it and hanging out with us today. Star Andrea 22 with a super chat. Thanks, Star Andrea. Adam Farmer with a super chat. Thank you, Adam, for your support. Ethan Bassett, a new member. Johan Rudolph with a super chat. Thanks very much. And Cesar Anitez, thank you very much for the super chat as well. Really appreciate the support, guys. It helps me do stuff like this. So, all right, now let me get to some of the regular chat while we pull this up here. And all right, so I'm still kind of expecting about 20 minutes or so. I also had Everyday Astronaut stream up here too. I'm gonna switch that over here because I'm not gonna show that. Oh, I can't see my monitor. So let's see. We'll get to your chat. Let me just get myself situated here. Okay, so we could be anywhere from 20 minutes. Could be anywhere from 20 to 15 minutes away. What's happening here? Why is this so blurry? Let's up the quality here a little bit. There we go. This is courtesy of NASA Spaceflight. Thanks to my friends at NASA Spaceflight for letting me use this. So they don't particularly have a time up there. So let's see. I think Everyday Astronaut was saying about 15 minutes. I haven't been listening into those guys recently, but we'll keep an eye on it just in case. You guys let me know if you see any updates. It's really hard to tell from this particular camera. So maybe we'll switch over to the NASA Spaceflight one because we can get a little better idea of what's actually happening. There's a little bit of haze going on there too. And that's what happens. You're so far away that you're going to get some haze from the cameras, but obviously you want to be far away. They said there's a slight hold. Okay, so I wasn't listening in. I was trying to get everything up and running. So SpaceX mission on YouTube says 21 minutes. Does SpaceX actually have a stream up now? They did not have a stream last I checked, but they were planning to stream it, so I'm not super worried. But I don't see an official stream from SpaceX yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting, little holds here and there today, because we gotta make sure that we're ready to go. It looks like so NASA Spaceflight has this into propellant loading, which would fit with. Does that fit with my timeline here? Tank venting, propellant loading. Actually, that's a little bit early for propellant loading. That's almost like 5 minutes, so that could be even a little bit early for what I was expecting for propellant loading. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see what they say, what what happens with the vehicle. You can see now, so the reason we look at venting, we have basically a whole fuel farm there, tank farm, where they have a methane recondenser, they have the liquid oxygen that they have to vent, and all that vent, you've got condensation and venting that's happening, which is creating these smoke clouds that are there. So the liquid methane, you generally can't vent off into the atmosphere. That's an environmental issue. Usually if you're going to expel gaseous methane, you have to have a flare stack. So we've seen that on some vehicles with a lot of times it's hydrogen vehicles, or but you have to have a flare stack to burn off the methane. You can't just vent liquid methane out into the environment, but you can recondense it, which SpaceX now has. They didn't used to have this, but now they have a methane recondenser, so any gaseous methane that they have, they can recondense it back down to liquid methane and reuse it again, so they don't have to expend any. The liquid oxygen, that you can expel that into the atmosphere as just oxygen, right? So you're going to see a lot of venting from the liquid oxygen, and the reason you want venting there is as it turns from that liquid, that super cold densified liquid oxygen state where it's densified and compact and really, really cold, as it warms up, it turns into gaseous form, it expands. That's where you can get over pressurization, which is not a good thing with rockets. We don't want any over pressurization. So, and if somebody sees a SpaceX feed, a stream, I'm expecting SpaceX to show a feed in about 10 minutes from now. So somewhere 5 to 10 minutes from now, we got to keep an eye out for SpaceX to be live themselves. And then we'll switch over. That's what we'll use to actually watch the feed together, will be the SpaceX feed. So, all right, let me grab a couple of questions from the regular chat. If they can get it up there, 100% chance it will land. Now, how many pieces does anyone guess? Oh, you had me there for a minute, Affleck. He said 100% chance it will land. I was like, oh, he's confident. Look at him. And then, or her, I don't know if it's a him or her, but then you said it's don't know how many pieces. And I was like, you're right. You're right. We don't know how many pieces it's going to be in. Okay. Let's see. Does SpaceX need to reach orbit in order to demonstrate propellant transfer? Probably. You'd probably want to do that on orbit propellant transfer, because that's the big question mark, is can you do propellant transfer when you're in microgravity? So that's what we got for big question mark. All right, there you go. So everyday astronaut is saying we got a temporary hold, which could be normal, because I don't see any venting from the rocket itself. So if we go over to the NASA spaceflight feed, I would expect for propellant loading, although they do have propellant loading ticked off, I'm expecting to see on the rocket, we're expecting to see some ice forming on the outside. So you'll see like white lines coming from the bottom up. That is basically the level of the liquid oxygen on the vehicle. Starts from the bottom, starts to move up as the liquid oxygen starts to fill the tank, and you'll get ice that forms on the outside. So it's super cold. It's like negative 340 degrees. And as that warm, humid sea air down in Texas touches the sides of it, it can basically form ice on the outside. So, well, while we're waiting to see what's happening, let's take a look. We'll take a look at a few things with Starship, like what we're actually doing here today. So this is, mentioned this before, this is a high altitude flight test. It is a test. That means if it crashes, that's not a failure. Now, I did just put out a video yesterday about the whole FAA approval process. If it crashes, that doesn't necessarily mean like the FAA is just going to be like, oh, cool, try again. They still have to do a mishap investigation. So even a crash, even if it's expected, has to be investigated. And that's what we saw on SN8. I think SN8 was actually a whole different story, because so the report from the FAA this morning, they said they did approve the flight safety conditions for this flight, but reportedly SpaceX applied for a waiver, a safety waiver on SN8. Safety waiver basically means like you're trying to waive one of those conditions. So one of them, for example, I don't know if this is the one they applied for. One of the safety conditions, for example, could be that they have to run a modeled casualty analysis. Talked about this in my video, but a modeled casualty analysis that shows via computer models and simulations that the risk to the public is no greater than 1 in a million. So basically they run, a whole bunch of simulations with risk and what could happen with debris and the rocket going off course and things failing and all that kind of stuff. They run that computer model, and that has to demonstrate that the risk is no more than 1 in a million. If they wanted a waiver, they could potentially apply for a waiver from that and say, like, hey, listen, we can't do 1 in a million because, like, that might be too high for us. We want a waiver that says we're going to launch it, and we have a, our computer model says that it's a, 1 in 500,000 chance of somebody dying or being injured. And the FAA would then have to look at their report and say, all right, well, what are you doing for safety? What kind of mitigation measures do you have? And say, okay, we'll give you this waiver. Well, reportedly, they applied for a waiver to something, and the FAA said no. They rejected it. And SpaceX said, well, we're flying anyways. And they flew anyways. So that's a big concern. That's apparently what happened on SN8. We don't know what they were trying to waive, but apparently the FAA said no, and they did it anyways, which is what happened on SN8. But if SN9 crashes today, they'll still do a mishap investigation. They have to identify what went wrong, why did it crash and not land, how are they going to fix it, what happened during the crash, where did the debris go, did it stay within their expectations, all that kind of stuff. So, all right, so Starship, obviously, I said, is the second stage. So we're looking at this upper portion here. The bottom portion, which is the booster, super heavy booster, we haven't seen yet. Maybe soon we'll see it. We're not there yet. They are building booster number 1 right now, and it's making pretty good progress. So let's see. We'll continue going down here. So a couple of different options, a couple of different configurations for Starship. And actually, I had that pulled up on another slide here. So yes, it will take people to the moon and to Mars. That's the idea. Oh, it looks like is somebody in the exclusion zone? Hold on just a minute. I just saw this on the NSF feed. It looks like the police are working on somebody that might be in the exclusion zone. Is this live? I gotta... It looks like there's somebody in the exclusion zone. Is that what I'm seeing right there? Interesting. All right. Well, let's see. Let me go back to this. We'll talk about this for a minute. All right. So a couple of configurations for Starship just to get people up to speed and what they may or may not know for the actual Starship itself. So we've got, this is basically the test vehicle that we'd see. If you're going to have like a tanker vehicle, it's probably going to look similar to this. A tanker vehicle would be that on-orbit propellant transfer that I forget who asked the question, but was talking about earlier. You've got a satellite deployment method here that's basically can deploy satellites out the nose. It's kind of like this alligator clamp that just opens up and deploys the payload. That'll be kind of interesting to see, because I don't know, as the Starship, there's got to be some sort of like movement mechanism to get the payload up and then deploy it, which is not what we normally see on a satellite launch, but it'll be kind of interesting. And then did they show the crude one? We've got the lunar Starship configurations. These are not lunar Starship. These are just the regular crew configurations. The lunar Starship one is a little bit different. They might not show it in this one here in particular. I don't think they do. But all right, I keep seeing this over here on my screen. It looks like they got a truck going through the area. I don't think he's supposed to be there. There's supposed to be nobody in the area right now. So I'm not sure why. I don't know how we got there in the first place. Because this area is pretty roped off. This guy, yeah, somebody just said he's in the danger cone. Yes. Pickup truck is in the danger cone. Get out of the danger cone. Don't you know you're in the danger cone? We got to get him out of there. That looks like a problem. I wonder, yeah, we probably can't see it on this view because it's too blurry, but let's pull this up. All right, so this, we were at 7.5 minutes. I think I have to update this feed because now it appears that we're on some sort of a hold because this is not, we should be at the tri-vent at this point, and we are not. So I'm going to guess that we're somewhere around maybe, let me see, probably here is about where we're at. So that would put us at maybe like 20 to 30 minutes away. So we're on a hold right now. So we're just waiting. We're waiting on propellant loading, and hopefully we'll see that soon. It looks like they got to get the pickup truck out of the danger cone, which would be a problem. But, all right, let me see. I keep saying I'm going to get to your comments, but they're flying by pretty quickly, to be honest. So I'm going to try my best to get to some of these. Let me see. Did I miss any? Let me grab super chats first, just in case we had those. Shadow Lang 404, thanks for the super chat. Ace Tragic, hey Tori, I'm from Canada, and I'm wondering if you know if Canada has any major launches, because I don't even know, and I feel like you would. I don't know of any Canadian companies that are launching their own rockets off the top of my head. Nothing major, at least, from a Canadian company standpoint that I can think of. I wonder if the chat would know. Because I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but of course it's always a little bit tough to try to stream and think at the same time. But I can't think of any Canadian rocket launch company at all. No, I got nothing. Let's see. But thanks for your support. I'm sorry I wasn't more helpful. Carrie Ann, super chat. Thank you very much, Carrie Ann. Just said thank you, Tori. Thank you, Carrie Ann. Appreciate that. And Frederick became a new member. Thank you, Frederick. There you go. Spaceflight Brick said there's no Canadian launch provider, but there's a proposed launch site in Canso, Nova Scotia. There you go. News to me from Spaceflight Bricks. Yeah, I didn't think there was... I was trying to think of, like, maybe one of these new smaller launch companies might be from Canada, because I don't know where all of them are from, to be perfectly honest. Like, some of the smaller launch companies that are just getting up and running, but yeah, I couldn't think of any that were specifically from Canada. So yeah, I mean, I think he's right. I don't think there are any Canadian launch providers that I can think of, but interesting. I didn't know about the Canso, Nova Scotia proposed launch site. I didn't know anything about that. Canada is pretty far north. So the trouble with launching from Canada is you really have to go like polar orbits only. I mean, you could do, like, I guess the rush at Baikonur is pretty far north. You could launch to the International Space Station, I suppose, from Canada, but it is pretty far north to do a lot of launches. You'd have to use a lot of extra energy if you wanted to go to like a geostationary orbit. So that's the problem. That's the problem with that. That's why we mostly see Rocket Lab doing polar orbits, because they're in New Zealand, pretty far down under, so to speak. Is that okay to say, or is that only Australia? My Australian friends got to tell me what the proper terminology is there. Show the pickup truck in the danger zone again, in the danger cone. I don't think he's there now. Not that we can see. This is the view here that we have from NASA spaceflight. Still a lot of venting happening at the tank farm, but nothing from the vehicle itself. So we're not seeing any evidence of propellant loading itself yet. I know NASA spaceflight has the propellant loading thing marqueed in that says it's happening, but I don't see any venting from the vehicle itself, which would indicate we've actually got propellant being loaded into the rocket. So once you start loading propellant into the rocket, there should be venting from the rocket itself, so you don't overpressurize the rocket. But I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that yet. But we'll keep an eye on it, and because that's really what's going to kick off our timeline. So I guess while we're waiting, one of the things that I was going to show, because I was expecting that there could be delays today. As I had mentioned, this is a test campaign. They're under no obligation to launch anytime in the near future. So Since we got no idea, we'll show a little bit of a replay from SN8. This is the last time around. You can get an idea of what happened the last time. I'm gonna keep the sound down. We just keep it on screen so that we can have an idea what's happening here. So, oh, and there you go. Dan Barry, thanks for the reminder. Said, what's today's trajectory? Good comment, Dan. I do have today's trajectory, and I'll show that in a minute. It's almost the same as SN8 the last time around. The only difference is SN8 went to 12.5 kilometers. SN9 is only going to 10 kilometers. Now, we don't know exactly why SN9 is going to 10 kilometers. There's a few theories. The biggest one is that there's two theories that I have that could be possible. Is they could be doing it for better safety. You know, we talked about that safety waiver that they had to apply for. Was this part of it? Did SpaceX want to go to 12.5 kilometers and the FAA said no? They're like, no, you can only go to 10. And they went to 12.5 anyways? Don't know. We have no idea. But, so that could be one. They might have lowered it because of that safety issue. Option 2, which seems a little more likely to me, option 2 is they could be doing it to deal less with the upper level winds. So upper level winds is right around that area, like 10 to 15 kilometers. You get some really strong winds right at that level, which is about 30 to 45,000 feet. So right at that level is where those strong upper level winds are. And they might have lowered it to 10 kilometers so they don't have to deal with that as much. Because remember, the vehicle is under power, but at that point it's going to be throttled way down with only one engine running, and the wind can start to push you around. Might be harder to get into that belly flop at that particular altitude. So that's the idea. And then obviously, so this was the ending the last time around, which didn't work out so well with our flip maneuver. But hopefully that's going to be resolved today. So let me show you the trajectory here as, who was that? As Dan Barry mentioned over on Facebook. We'll take a look at the flip maneuver, and we'll look at some, actually, why don't we talk about the upper level winds first, since we just talked about that. Then we'll show the trajectory, some stats about the particular flight. So this is in Boca Chica, Texas. If we zoom it way out here, obviously we see the United States. Launching, Boca Chica, Texas is way down here, right at the tip of Texas. So you scroll way in, and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, to be honest. There's nothing around. So Boca Chica this is the road right here where the facilities are on. The production facilities a little further back from the ocean, and then the launch facilities a little closer to the ocean. But right now, ground level winds. Actually, this was this morning. Let's refresh it just to make sure. Ground level winds, only 6 miles per hour. Somebody help me out with the metric conversion there. But 6 mile per hour ground level winds, that's nothing. No big deal. If we go up to 9 kilometers, much higher, you can see how those upper level winds pick up 64 miles per hour. But this is still not bad for a rocket. 64 miles per hour, like I think that's doable. That would be okay. So I have no concerns about winds today. If we bump up a little bit higher, 12 kilometers like we were talking about, you see it jumps up by 10, 74 miles per hour. So you can see how those upper level winds can pick up pretty quickly right at that area. Even if we bounce down, like let's go down to 5.5 kilometers, you're only at 46 miles per hour at 5.5 kilometers. So it picks up in a hurry as you get up close to that 10 kilometer range. That's where your upper level winds really start to pick up. Satellite was looking good. There's really nothing in the air, a few maybe like wispy clouds or something like that. Nothing as far as radar, got no concerns there. I don't know. I shouldn't even look at temperature because it'll make me upset because we're having a snowstorm here where I am. Snowstorm where I am, but 65 degrees down in Boca Chica. I don't want to talk about that. We're moving on. All right, let's look at the trajectory. Actually, let's check in with the rocket just to make sure that we're okay. Yeah, still no venting from the rocket itself. We've got no indication that we're going to see. No indication that we're going to see a flight, at least in the next couple of minutes. But it was looking good for a little while. Kind of upset now. Let's see, I had one other... Where's my other window? Nope, don't want that. It's got advertisements on it. Oh, that's my window, though. let's see. So yeah, I see no venting, but we're gonna talk stats for a second while we get ready. Let's see, give me a second to get my stuff situated over here. Yeah, I see no... Oh, no, just kidding. Just kidding. We've got venting from the rocket. I see it on a different camera. But we're not going to see it there from that camera. And we're not going to see it from this camera either. Ugh, I can see it. I can't show it to you. But I see venting. I see venting. That's a good thing. That means we're probably progressing. Let me see. So vent, let me get... that would be propellant loading, which is... That's usually only like... It's usually only like 15 minutes away. So I'm going to update the timer here. We're going to make this... We're going to make this go for like... Maybe around... Oh, yeah, I don't know. That might even be too much. 16 minutes? That might be too much. It might be less than that. So, why doesn't Starship have landing legs? That's a good question from Jason. It actually does have landing legs. The landing legs are tucked up inside the bottom here. Let me switch over to here. So, if you look inside the bottom, you can see I've got my engines in there. They're a little bit crooked, but... And I don't have any landing legs shown on my 3D printed model, but the landing legs are tucked up inside there. We might, let me go back to... I've got a view that we can show. This is SN8, so I'll throw the replay up here so there's no confusion. But if we look at SN8 here, you can see, actually let me do it here. The landing, right here, this is a landing leg right here. That's a landing leg. There's one right here. The green screen's gonna cut off. There's a landing leg right there. And I think those, and right here, there's a, let's see, this way. There's a landing leg right here. This is a landing leg. So those landing legs are folded up inside the skirt of the Starship, and they flip out right before landing. Now, they did not flip out during the SN8 flight, which is what we're watching here. During SN8, they did not flip out. And reason, we don't really know the exact reason for that, but I would suspect that, you know, one, it's waiting. The main thing that I think it's waiting for is a particular velocity to flip those out. So because the engines did not come up to full thrust, didn't slow the vehicle down fast enough, it didn't trigger the landing legs to actually deploy and flip out. So that's my theory on why we did not see the landing legs the last time. But we don't know for sure. What we do know, you can see the engine going out here. We're expecting this again today. We're expecting the engines to go out. They're going to start with 3, they'll go down to 2, they'll go down to 1, then we'll get the belly flop. So we're expecting 3, 2, 1 on the engines, belly flop on the way down, and then my expectation is a 2-engine landing burn. But it was hard to tell. Last time we had 2 engines ignite, 1 went out. I don't know if that was on purpose. If the engine out was on purpose, but that's something we'll find out together today. So, but I'm expecting at least 2 engines. So, let's see. Oh, now we're getting some venting from the rocket. This one, nope, not that button. This button, this button, this button. I got so many buttons. Now we're getting some venting from the rocket. This is good news. So we had a little bit of a hold earlier. It looked like there was somebody in the exclusion zone, which was no good. We don't want that. But I think we're about... Oh, this is gonna be a tough call. I think this might even be... Now I'm thinking this is a few minutes too early. So now I think we're probably like... I don't know. That might be too much, too. It's so hard to guess. So hard to guess. I'm looking around at what some of the other people are guessing, too. But, yeah, I'm guessing about 18 minutes. The big indicator will be once we start to see what's called the tri-vent. So at the bottom of the rocket, if we look at the NASA spaceflight feed, oh, of course, they just switched away right at the last second. But at the bottom of the rocket, you'll see 3 big vents, one for each of the Raptor engines. They'll be right at the base of the rocket. Once we start to see those 3 big vents, that's when we can really get an idea of how much time we have left. We're about 12 minutes away when we see that tri-vent starting. So right now, I think we're right around the 17-minute mark. All right, let's see. Oh, so we were looking at trajectory. Let's go back and look at trajectory because we didn't look at that yet. We started looking at stats and trajectories, and let me get my simulations up. So this is courtesy of flightclub.io, and I will say, we also have for you today, we're going to run the Flight Club. Oh, well, we're going to run the Flight Club widgets here because I think we should be much more accurate than we were the last time around for this stuff. So this is simulated telemetry provided by flightclub.io. He did, this guy's a magician too. So he basically took like high resolution imagery from SN8, went pixel by pixel to calculate how fast the vehicle was moving throughout all the different stages of flight. He took that, put it into a mathematical model, and refined the Starship simulated telemetry that we're going to see today. If you remember from the last time around, we had this last time around, but within like 2 minutes, we were like, yeah, it's not even close. Sorry, Declan, you tried. We're getting rid of it. That was the last time, but this time I feel good about it because we actually have prior data to base this simulated telemetry on. So this should give us an idea of roughly where we are. Hopefully it's accurate. I don't know. We don't know, but we're going to try it. We'll see what happens. So this will be kind of cool to see. So he also did, from Flight Club, he's also got this data. Let's see. Let's get rid of... Oh, I got a couple buttons that are not working. There we go. Let's try this one here. Okay, so we got a couple of other buttons here that or a couple other graphs here to show some of the Flight Club stuff. So you've got Flight Club does a whole bunch of cool looking things here, but if you want to see like what the altitude graphs are going to look like, we're going to 10 kilometers today, not 12 and a half, so 10 kilometers today. You've got some acceleration graphs that basically he's saying that the Starship is only going to experience about 2 Gs max. It's actually less than 2 Gs, 1.8 Gs max on the way down, and it's really right at that landing burn is where the majority of the G-forces come in. But for the most part, it's a very gentle ride all the way up, and you can see each engine out here. You get a little bit of drop in the acceleration on each engine out. Then you get basically 0 G right at the belly flop here, and then you'll get some acceleration as it's falling from the atmospheric drag there. So that one I think is really interesting to me. You can see the velocity graph up here. Picking up in velocity, you get these couple quick dips right there, the little that as each engine goes out. Kind of cool to see. He's got all kinds of graphs in here. Definitely check this out. This is flightclub.io. But the biggest one that I love to show is this one right here, which is the 3D map of our telemetry today. So this is what we should look like for telemetry. So this is right at their site. You can see here's the launch site, here's the landing pad. They're offset here, so they're not directly in the same spot. And then you've got Boca Chica Village, which is only 2.5 kilometers away right here. That's evacuated right now because you've got this big, huge exclusion zone. All this other stuff is mostly open land. There's nothing here in all this area. So most of this is all exclusion zones. There is population up here in South Padre Island. That's where most people are watching from. And we've got, so the telemetry, it's basically straight up and straight down. I'm going to go straight up, do this. It'll do the belly flop. You'll get a little bit of this little wobble here where it's coming down using the flaps on the side for aerodynamic steering here. So these flaps, which start like this, can we see this? Will it focus on this? They start like this, and they'll flap up on the way down, maybe not quite that much, and they'll use those flaps for stability and for steering. They're basically aerodynamic flaps. That they're not quite wings, because I don't think they're really generating lifts per se, but it's they're control surfaces, basically. So that's what we're looking at for telemetry today, right? It's gonna look there's not much there, but then we get the big landing burn at the end. That's gonna be the crazy part. It was the crazy part last time. It's coming down here. It's gonna use those header tanks, ignite the engines. It'll overcorrect over to here, because when you ignite the engines while it's in this configuration, it's going to impart some horizontal forces. So it's going to go horizontal just a little bit as it's trying to correct itself, and that's why it has to overcorrect to null that horizontal velocity, and then hopefully set it down nice and gentle for a landing today. I'm feeling good about a landing. I think it'll be all right. I think it could be fantastic for a landing today. All right, let's see. Let me see. Let's go back to... Let's look at the NASA spaceflight feed. Yeah, we've got a little bit of venting from the rocket. So you can see down here at the base of the rocket, a little bit of venting happening. That's good news. That's propellant loading. So we have propellant going into the rocket. So I'm going to keep us on this feed here. Oops, this one. In the meantime, while we get a little bit closer. Let's see. So we're probably only like 10 minutes away. So that's the tri-vent that's happening right there. So yeah, I think so. This is good news. Do we have a SpaceX feed yet? We don't have a SpaceX feed, right? They were pretty close. All right, somebody's gonna have to let me know if they see a SpaceX feed come up. Why is there not official SpaceX feed? There will be. It's just not there yet. Remember, it's a test. They have no obligation to tell us anything about this test. But they will have. They are going to put a feed out that'll be much better quality than this. I'm expecting that any minute. Kind of just hitting the refresh, and then we should have a nice high quality feed, which will be fantastic. How does the rocket flight termination system work? How do they ignite it? It's basically just giant explosives. It can be ignited manually, triggered by radio control from the ground, or it can be triggered automatically by the onboard systems if it reaches certain parameters. So there's a couple different things that the rocket is going to consider as it's traveling. So it has to have constant communication with the ground. If it starts losing communication with the ground, it basically has a time limit there that it has to reacquire signal, or else it's going to blow. It's going to calculate like what its position is. If it gets too far off course, termination system would activate automatically. So there's a whole bunch of things that could terminate the rocket. Let's see, why are there two SN9s? Well, one is SN9, that's the one on the right where you're seeing a whole bunch of the venting happening. And then SN10 is on the left. So there are two of them out there. SN10 is going to be the next one. I'm very surprised that they put it out there, but I think they needed the space for assembly. But let's see. I want to check... Hold on, let me check something real quick. Because I was wondering, so I was looking at, I was trying to look at my, one of my systems here, because I saw our little lobster popping up a little bit, but he's gone now. Just making sure it wasn't broken. All right. Anyways, so I think, what do I have this at? Yeah, I think we're pretty close. So I think we're about 8 minutes away here, guys. So we should have a stream. We should have a SpaceX stream coming up. This is good. This is fantastic. All right, let's get... Oh, here you go. You can see... I'm looking at the NSF feed. If you look at our NSF feed, the NASA spaceflight feed over here, now we're really getting some venting. This is that tri-vent that I was talking about, where the tri-vent is in really good shape. And thanks, Joey, for the Facebook stars. I saw that pop up there for a second. Appreciate it, Joey. But you can actually even see, if you look carefully, you can see a ring of ice starting to form. That's what I was talking about earlier. That's liquid oxygen. Liquid oxygen in there, that's basically the level of the liquid oxygen that is in the rocket, causing condensation and ice to form on the outside of the rocket. Now, we had talked earlier about how much fuel was actually going to be in the rocket. And I'm expecting not a ton of fuel, but it should be something like this. So it's not going to be completely full, but they'll have enough fuel to actually perform the operation. And I don't think they want it to be completely full, because you want to have as little propellant as possible for the actual landing. I mean, those landing legs are relatively small. You don't want to have a whole bunch of extra weight on those landing legs. So that we definitely don't want. So that's what we're expecting. Can't really see it in this particular view. I'm kind of just I'm flipping back and forth through a million different feeds here, because we're about 6 minutes away, and SpaceX really should be going live here any second. Waiting to see somebody tell me if they come up with a feed. Now I'm freaking out. All right, let me grab a couple. I saw a couple other super chats pop up. Just wanted to mention them. Johan Renke with the super chat, thank you. Steve Pritchard, a new member on the channel. Thanks, Steve, for your support. Wes Quist with a super chat. Thanks, Wes. And Eric the goat guy. All right, Eric. He said, "Is that a giant flying squid?" Giant flying squid. Where did you see a giant flying squid? I'm not even sure what that's in reference to. All right. Well, while we wait, anything from SpaceX? Man, they should be live here any second. SpaceX is live, says Hannah. I see nothing, Hannah. Somebody in Discord, send me a link if you have a link to the SpaceX live, because I don't see it. Now I'm frantically looking, make sure I don't miss it, because we're only a few minutes away here. We got to be very close. Where is SpaceX? Where are they? Let me see. Yeah, I don't see anything yet. Because we should be only a few minutes away here at this point. All right, I'm sorry. I see everybody's chat coming flying through, and they are live. Where? Somebody sent it to me in Discord already. I got nothing. Oh, I found it. Boom. We're in. Oh, yes. Oh, and we're right on the money for our timeline. Hold on. We got to do this. We got to mute them. We got to switch over to here. This is it. Oh, boy. Okay. All right. Hold on, everybody. We don't even need this events list. We'll just switch. Oh, okay. All right. Now we got something. All right. Now I'm freaking out. Hold on. Unmute. Listen to that. Ah. Here we go. Here we go, folks. Oh, it's, all right, it's already in 1080. Yes! 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Woo! Okay. We're in. Now we've got it. Somebody saw an inspection drone. There are drones that fly around. This is interesting because this is a different camera angle than space. Oh, we got multiple camera angles. Oh, yes. Thank you, SpaceX. Look at this. Close up. Double cam close up. Love it. Oh, all right. Here we go. Let's get somebody reminding me about the background music. Thank you. We'll turn that off. All right. So we're only a couple minutes away. The FAA has given the approval. It's happening. In 2 minutes, hopefully. We can see that big tri-venting. It's engine, it's venting. We got engine chill happening. Trying to cool down the engines. Oh, I gotta get. Let me get Flight Club ready.
T-minus 2 minutes, continuing to count down on the flight of Starship serial number 9.
Oh, we got a host.
The vehicle on the right of your screen, currently venting. On the left is Starship serial number 10, which is also being checked out for a similar flight later this month.
Oh boy, hello John. I love that. We got a voice. We got John's with us now. Okay. All right. All right. Remember, we're gonna have our simulated telemetry here. And I got that on the money. Let me see. Here we go. We're coming down under a minute here.
T-minus 1 minute to the launch of Starship serial number 9. Propellant loading is complete. Next event is retract of the quick disconnect from the flight vehicle.
Oh, he's giving us more info too. I love it. I love it. Oh, this is great. This is great. Here we go. Share this with your friends. Get them in here. It's now or never. Okay, 30 seconds. Come on, baby, go. Come on, baby, go. Here we go. This might be loud. I have no idea. I'm going to crank the volume as loud as it goes. 15, baby. Here we go.
9,
yes.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Starship climbing to 10-kilometer altitude. View on the right shows 3 Raptor engines burning. Everything continues to look nominal right now for the stage and for propulsion. 90 seconds into flight, everything continues to be nominal with Starship. We're Just passing through 3 kilometer altitude. Next major event is shutdown of engine number 3.
All right, we're gonna get a shutdown here. Got one engine out. Can't hear me.
Plus 2 minutes. Flight continuing on Starship. As a reminder, this is a test flight to a 10 kilometer altitude. Engine number 3 shut down on time as planned. We're continuing to climb on 2 engines. Everything continues to go well with Starship.
There we go.
Good engine performance so far.
All right, we got one engine out. Good engine performance, they said. This is good. I have no idea if our simulated telemetry is correct. Seems okay so far. There we go. Look at that. Look at that tilt. See, it's got a thrust like through the center of mass here. Right? Is that the proper term? Through the center of mass? Because those engines are offset. You're getting offset thrust because they shut down the engine on one side. Let's say a little bit of a tilt there so that it can still climb straight. That's crazy. Expecting a second shutdown. All right, so Flight Club looks like it's a little bit off. Because what's our
shutdown?
Oh, not that far.
Plus 3 minutes, 20 seconds. We've shut down engine 2 on time. You saw that on the screen just a few seconds ago. Starship now climbing on the power of engine number 1. Headed to the 10 kilometer altitude.
This is where it really starts to slow down now. It's losing a ton of speed. It's gonna hit almost nothing. And again, I don't know how accurate that telemetry is, but it seems pretty close.
T plus 4 minutes. Vehicle is at 10 kilometers.
Oh.
It is at apogee. We're continuing to throttle down engine number 1 to hold altitude. We're preparing for handover on the propellant tank.
Here we go. Oh, here we go. Here comes the flip. We're getting there. This is the propellant tank handover.
4.5 minutes. We are handing off to the LOX tank. We're
There it
beginning
is.
to flip
There
to
it is.
horizontal.
Oh!
And the white cloud, the plume you were seeing was intentional. There is a liquid oxygen
Oh!
dump.
Oh! Oh!
We've now
oh!
transitioned to horizontal and beginning the subsonic test portion of the flight, where we check out the aft and the
man.
forward flaps to hold the vehicle stability as we descend back to the landing pad.
Holy smokes! That took a big angle downwards. Look at that! Look at it go! Oh my goodness! Now we're straightening it out. Straightening it out. There we go. All right, easy. Hold it. Come on. Holy smokes! Remember, the telemetry is simulated. It's an estimate. We don't know if it's correct, but it's pretty close. It seems like. Look at this
T
view.
plus 5.5 minutes.
This is the
Starship
launch.
continuing the subsonic descent, using the forward and aft flaps to control its attitude as we come back down to the landing pad.
This is
Everything
like
continuing
from
to
the
go
landing
well in
pad.
this portion of flight.
This is the view from the landing pad, just coming towards it. You're looking from underneath it. Look at this. Look at this.
Landing chill.
Landing chill. Oh, we're gonna get an ignition soon. Oh, start them up. Start them up.
6 minutes, 10 seconds into flight. We're down beneath 1.5 kilometers. We're preparing to restart 2 engines, flip the vehicle vertical, then transition to 1 engine for the landing burn.
Land it. Land it. There it goes. There it goes. Come on, touchdown. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, I see. Let's get cameras up.
Oh, man. That one...
Rolling to anomaly net and opening 3.911 at this time. We will start sweeping for fires.
That one didn't... That looked...
Well, as you can see from the scene, we had, again, another great flight up to the 10-kilometer apogee. We demonstrated the ability to transition the engines to the landing propellant tanks. The subsonic reentry looked very good and stable like we saw again last December, so we've got a lot of good data on flap control. And again, we've just got to work on that landing a little bit, but we'll find out from the team as they go through the data. We were in contact with telemetry all the way down. So all told, another great, and a reminder, this is a test flight, second time we've flown Starship in this configuration. We've got a lot of good data, and the primary objective to demonstrate control of the vehicle in the subsonic reentry look to be very good, and we will take a lot out of that. And with that, we're going to wrap up today's webcast. Thanks for logging on and watching, and we'll be back with another Starship in the near future.
Oh, man. That one looked... That actually... Oh, there they go. So they ended that. All right. We're going to back that up. We're gonna have to replay that. Holy, before we do that, we've gotta like get our senses back together. That was just as nuts as the first time. Wow. That was awesome. Was that not the coolest thing ever? I mean, okay, so she went kaboom. But we're gonna watch that again. It actually looked worse this time, which is kind of unexpected. I thought maybe it was going to land it, but as soon as it kicked on that engine burn, or the landing burn, I mean, it looked worse to me. It didn't look that good. I got to watch it over again because I think I blacked out for a second. We're going to replay that. Oh, all right. I just want to do the landing burn to start with. Let's do that, and let's see if we can figure out what happened. Let's get our replay text up here. So here it was. This is the camera from underneath.
T++ 5.5 minutes. Starship continuing the subsonic descent, using the forward and aft flaps to control its attitude as we come back down to the landing pad. Everything continuing to go well in this portion of flight.
So this is the view from underneath, like basically at the landing pad, looking straight up.
Landing chill.
So this is landing chill, where they're running liquid oxygen through the engines. Let's see if we can watch this together.
6 minutes, 10 seconds into
it looked
flight.
like
We're
it
down
went
beneath 1.5 kilometers. We're preparing to restart 2 engines, flip the vehicle vertical, then transition to 1 engine for the landing burn.
Here we go. Look at that. That second engine doesn't look like it started up. Yeah, that came in a little hot, I think. It didn't.
Oh, I see. Let's get cameras up.
It didn't come in very straight.
Restart, 6 minutes.
It didn't straighten itself out, but it looked like that second engine.
6 minutes, 10 seconds into flight. We're down beneath 1.5 kilometers. We're preparing to restart 2 engines, flip the vehicle vertical, then transition to 1 engine for the landing burn.
So we got a 2-engine burn. One came up. The second one, look at it struggle. Look at it struggle. The second one never came up.
Then transition to
but it looked like that first engine.
2 engines.
It seemed like that first engine actually had like full thrust. It's just the second engine didn't relight. Look at the first engine looks okay. Maybe, yeah, it looks all right. I don't know.
Vehicle vertical.
Yeah, look at that.
Transition to 1 engine for the landing burn.
Look at the second engine is struggling to come back. Oh man.
Oh, I see. Let's get cameras up.
Yeah, it seems like it kind of seems like maybe we had a failure on the. I don't know if it's a failure on the Raptor engine.
Calling to anomaly net and opening 3.911 at this time.
Turbo pump failure, like Justin says, maybe. We have no idea, but yeah, it seems like that second engine didn't come up to full thrust. So, all right, let's take a second because I see the comments are just flying by. I keep seeing a couple of them that I wanna just touch on. Well, let's go back and replay this here a little bit. We'll back it up to how long were they live for before I caught on? Well, we were pretty close. Pretty much started it. So we'll replay the whole thing. We'll back it up. Maybe not quite 5 minutes. That's a little far. Let's see. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Okay, we'll do it at about here. So again, this is a replay. We already watched it. If you're joining late, I know it's a replay. That's why it says replay. Remember, this is a test. This is, you know what we should do? It's okay if it crashes. But we got to make sure that crashes are still safe. They'll do an investigation after this with the FAA. We know there's a lot of drama about the FAA. That's okay. They're going to do an investigation, and they should. You want to make sure that you want to figure out what happened. Why did it crash? That's number one. Number two is, was there any danger to people in the area when it crashed? Like, did the explosion, was it contained within the area of their, area of uncertainty where they thought debris would travel? Did something else happen? Did everything work? All the safety systems, they're going to check and make sure that they operated correctly here. So that's what they would do for the FAA, and that's what we want them to do with the FAA. And this gets easier the more they do this. So it's okay to see. Is SN10 fine? I think it's all right. The crash was a little farther away, so I think it's okay. But yeah, it is a good question, though. Did any debris go flying from the landing pad towards SN10? I didn't see any offhand, but didn't see any at first glance, but it's still going to be unknown. All right, I'm going to get my pump up jam. Let's watch it one more time.
Starship climbing to 10-kilometer altitude. View on the right shows 3 Raptor engines burning. Everything continues to look nominal right now for the stage and for propulsion. Seconds of the flight, everything continues to be nominal with Starship. We're just passing through 3-kilometer altitude. Next major event is shutdown of engine number 3. Plus 2 minutes, flight continuing on Starship. As a reminder, this is a test flight to a 10-kilometer altitude. Engine number 3 shut down on time as planned. We're continuing to climb on 2 engines. Everything continues to go well with Starship.
Good engine performance so far.
I know we already watched this once, but can you really watch it too many times? I'm just going to go through the whole thing again. Then we'll talk. Because this is just awesome. Robert wants to know, is it that loud if you're actually there? Yes. Basically, the sound we're hearing is what I would expect from, like, ground-level microphones. So this is... I would say that's very expected if you were there in person watching it, would be about that sound. The only thing is the startup would be a little bit delayed because they had separate microphones at ignition there. There's engine 2 shut down.
T2 shut down.
T plus 3 minutes, 20 seconds. We've shut down engine 2 on time. You saw that on the screen just a few seconds ago. Starship now climbing on the power of engine number 1. Headed to the 10-kilometer altitude.
So at this point, this is where it actually reaches 10 kilometers, but it still fires its engine to remain stable, kind of holds altitude, nulls out the entire vertical velocity, so the engine keeps...
Plus 4 minutes. Vehicle is at 10 kilometers. It is at apogee. We're continuing to throttle down engine number 1 to hold altitude.
Right, so even at apogee...
Preparing for handover on the propellant tank.
Right, so even at apogee right there, it still fires the engine. Then right here, I believe this is propellant handoff.
4.5 minutes, we are handing off to the LOX tank. We're beginning to flip to horizontal. And the white cloud, the plume you were seeing was intentional. That is a liquid oxygen dump. We've now transitioned to horizontal and beginning the subsonic test portion of the flight, where we check out the aft and the forward flaps to hold the vehicle stability as we descend back to the landing pad.
So this is the point where these flaps are doing a lot of the work for stability. These little flaps, they can move on the side, so they'll be moving and wiggling. The flapper things, like they're gonna flapperate. The flapper thing's gonna flapperate, and that's how it stays stable during descent. So we got good flapperation at this stage of the flight. Look it, you can see him flapperating right there. Lost the camera feed a couple times during this flight.
T plus 5.5 minutes. Starship continuing the subsonic descent, using the forward and aft flaps to control its attitude as we come back down to the landing pad. Everything continuing to go well in this portion of flight.
I wonder how much money evaporated. Yeah, I mean they have funds planned for this to happen. So it's not that big of a deal if it blows up. So remember, they're already developing starships.
Land intro.
We're already developing starships down the road that are already modernized beyond this platform.
6 minutes, 10 seconds into flight. We're down beneath 1.5 kilometers. We're preparing to restart 2 engines, flip the vehicle vertical, then transition to 1 engine for the landing burn.
There you go. So this is where I think, look at that that second engine doesn't start up. Just doesn't go. Kaboom.
Oh, I see. Let's get cameras up.
Well, I mean, it was a cool...
Going to anomaly net and opening 3.911 at this time.
It sounded cool.
For fires.
It's probably not what they wanted, but obviously, again, remember, it's a test flight. We'll back it up again here. I like that. That ending actually sounded really cool, but it's a test flight. It's okay that it blew up. They've already modernized the vehicle
10 seconds into
beyond
flight,
this.
Down beneath 1.5 kilometers. We're preparing to restart 2 engines, flip the vehicle vertical, then transition to 1 engine for the landing burn.
And here it goes. Look at 1 engine. That second one just doesn't come up. Now, somebody said,
Let's get cameras up.
I'm going to back it up. Somebody had said during ascent that there was extra flaminess happening in the engine compartment and like the skirt area. I want to take a look at that and see if I can see. Does anybody know the timestamp of when that happened? So I'm going to turn it down this time. We'll probably watch another replay again because that sound is just... I could play that on loop around my house. My family would kill me, but I love it. I don't know. Somebody said plenty... who's that? Don Pierce said plenty of debris must have hit SN10. I don't know how it doesn't, to be honest. Oh, there's a little bit of extra flaminess right there. That's a bit interesting. So normally, when you would see extra flaminess like that, normally I would say, like, you know, it happens at engine cutoff. Like, you might have... I don't know which end. I don't know if that's the right engine, though. But at engine cutoff, you can get some methane that kind of gathers up in the skirt area. It's not a lot of place for that air to go. And it can burn off in the skirt area. That would be normal. That was kind of up in the engine area, though. And it didn't seem like it was going away. It was just... Let's see, I'm going to fast forward a little bit, see if we can get another view at... Did they give us another engine view? Maybe that's why they cut off the engine view. Because we never saw the engines again after that. Interesting. Let's not speculate. I hate seeing speculation, but I do want to kind of evaluate and just think through, like, what might have gone on there. Like, yeah, it does seems like there's a bit of extra flaminess happening that is not going away. Right there on the engine. See him? And I have no idea. That could be nothing. That could be something. Like, you see a little bit of flaminess there. And it just doesn't stop, which is the concerning part to me. Is it just keeps going. Like, if it was extra methane that was built up there, I would expect it to burn off and it would be done. But the fact that it keeps going kind of seems like maybe there's a bit of a... I don't know, it almost seems like there's a leak or something there because it just keeps burning. And I don't know where the methane would be coming from if it just keeps burning like that. Right? Does that make sense to people, or am I off base here? Let's see. Too risky for SN10. It is. I was very surprised that they had SN10 that close. Especially, even just like simple stuff like ignition is gonna, like, it could toss up debris right there. Like, look at the ignition cloud. You'd have to be really confident that there's nothing that could be thrown at SN10. Which seems, I don't know. I'm not that brave. Obviously, they've done the calculations. It's their stuff. They're braver than I am, but away it goes. Did someone forget to tighten a fuel line? I mean, it's really tough with fuel lines because, like, you could tighten it down, but there's so much vibration and so much force on those engines that, like, that can... you can easily see something coming loose, but we don't know. It's not confirmed. That's speculation. which I generally don't like, but just trying to analyze while I'm watching it here. And we'll watch, and it seems like that second engine never came up, so... That swing might have jostled the fuel. Yeah, it doesn't really, because there are header tanks. Remember, we showed an animation towards the beginning of the video. There are header tanks in there that are pressurized to make sure they don't use the main tank of fuel specifically because of that sloshing. Because that does happen on the main tanks. You get fuel sloshing. So they do not use the main fuel tanks because of that fuel sloshing. They have smaller header tanks that are 100% full. They're only used for landing. And that's why they're 100% full. They're completely full fuel tanks. That way, I mean, the fuel can slosh around wherever it wants. There's nowhere to go. It's a completely full fuel tank, and then they can ignite the engines during that flip. You can see debris flying around on relight. All right, we'll take a look. We'll see if we can see anything. Same problem as Starship SN8. I don't know, it was a little bit different. SN8, at least, I don't know, at least SN8 ignited both engines for a bit.
T+2 minutes, flight continuing on Starship.
Most expensive belly flop ever. Yeah, that's true. Let's see what else we got. It's the second time that exploded. This is true, but that's normal. That's okay. It's a test flight. They're collecting data. They're testing processes. That's what the test campaign is for. You want to try to develop those engineering questions in your head of what went wrong so that down the road you can go, all right, I remember this happened on this flight. We need, somebody's going to go back and say, oh, I remember I forgot to do step 12 and I meant to do it here, or I didn't do it completely enough, or we got to redesign this. And, that's what this test campaign is for. Let's see. Why don't they use pressure machine to pressure the fuel instead of the header tanks? Well, anything you're going to add to it is going to take up weight, which is always a problem. But they actually do have, on SN8 they used the actual methane itself to pressurize the tank. On this one, they're using helium to pressurize the tank. So they actually do have an external pressurization system to pressurize the tank, and that was supposed to solve the problem this time around. But obviously, we either didn't solve the problem or we got a new problem. Either could be possible. Why didn't they have the landing pad somewhere not near the launch pad? Well, I mean, they don't have there's not a ton of space available to SpaceX there, so they don't own a huge amount of land. And it's really, I don't know, as long as it didn't completely damage SN10, it wouldn't really be that big of a deal. I mean, it looked like it hit the landing pad, and every single time it made it to the landing pad, it just didn't stick the landing. Appears to be a wire or cable loose on the right-hand side. I did not see that. Where did you see that? In this view here? Right here with the engines somewhere? Where was that? Where's the engines? No. Where's our engines? Right here? Give me a mission timestamp. You seeing this thing down here at the bottom? That doesn't bother me. Or this thing up here? I don't know. That doesn't particularly bother me because doesn't seem significant enough. It could be support wiring, but I don't know what that is. I don't think we saw that last time, but I don't know, for some reason that doesn't concern me that much. All right, let's go back up to here. Would love to see SN10 put in a museum now that it's scrapped. I don't think SN10 will be scrapped. Remember, SN9 tipped over in the assembly bay. Tipped over and crashed into the wall, and they were still like, we can buff that out. We'll fix it. I mean, I think SN10 is still going to fly.
Preparing for handover on the propeller.
Check out Lab Padre. I can't show you Lab Padre, but
4.5 minutes, we are handing off to
Let me see if I can see it anywhere. Do I have Lab Padre up? I had it up.
And the white cloud, the plume you were seeing was intentional. There is a liquid oxygen dump. We've now transitioned to horizontal and beginning the subsonic.
Let me see while this is going here.
Flight, where we check out the aft and the forward flaps to hold the vehicle stability as we descend back to the landing pad.
Let this play out here. I'm gonna look at. I'll look at the other streams here on my own. See if there's anything to show. And maybe I could. I can't show you the Lab Padre stream, but maybe we can clip a photo. I feel like I'm Joe Barnard doing his live. Did anybody watch Joe Barnard do the SN9 stream last week? Oh God, I was laughing so hard. If you haven't seen it, look up Joe Barnard on YouTube. It's hysterical. It's basically a parody. But it was way too accurate. I felt like I was under attack. Let's
forward and aft flaps to control its attitude as we come back down to the landing pad. Everything continuing to go well in this portion of flight.
I don't know. It's hard to navigate the Lab Padre stream because what time was landing? So it took off at like 2:25. Yeah, so this is I'm too far. I gotta back it up more.
Land intro.
Let's see, I'm trying to pull it up on Lab's feed. There, oh, there we go. I got smoke.
6 minutes, 10 seconds into flight. We're down beneath 1.5 kilometers. We're preparing to restart 2 engines, flip the vehicle vertical, then transition to 1 engine for the landing burn.
There it is. See, you only get that. Oh man, look at it come down. Oof. Man, oh man.
Oh, see, let's get cameras up.
That is something else right there. Lab Padre's got a good view at it. I was just looking at it on Lab's stream.
Opening 3.911 at this time. We will start switching.
A lot of debris this time around. Just because it came down sideways like that.
Well, as you can see from the scene, we had again another great flight up to the 10-kilometer apogee.
Did people get hurt? Well, no, we don't believe so. There shouldn't be any people anywhere near it.
3, 2, 1.
So,
3.
all right, I'll replay this. Let me get to some questions. We'll keep it going for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. I mean, you can't watch it enough, right? I gotta keep the volume down though, so we don't blow out people's eardrums. It doesn't look like, I mean, SN9 or SN10, there's debris that came very close to SN10. So there's possible some minor damage to SN10. I don't see anything major that went flying towards SN10. It seems like throttle or something to do with it because it looks like it's in idle. Yeah, for some reason that second engine just never came up to full thrust. They need to install a parachute. Yeah, that's not going to happen. They're just going to try to fix the problem. Why not initiate the flip earlier? I mean, so that's not the issue, really, and it really wouldn't solve the problem because you need 2 engines for that thrust in order to slow it down enough. So either way, you need 2 engines, and if you're going to use 2 engines, then I mean, where they plan the flip is where they should flip. The problem is they just have to make sure that the engines reignite. So really, starting the flip sooner doesn't help solve the problem because they're still missing an engine. They're still going to crash because they're going to come in too hard to the pad. So we need to figure out how to get that second engine to ignite and get both engines up at full thrust. They should have flipped at 2.5 kilometers. Yeah, again, it's not going to help. You could flip earlier. The problem is, like, once you flip, your terminal velocity is a lot higher. So they belly flop like this because the terminal velocity is lower. You got more surface area for the atmosphere to push against, and it helps slow you down. As soon as you flip, you're going to start going faster. So you actually amplify the problem if you flip and go this way, because you're going to start going faster because your terminal velocity is going to be higher. There's less surface area to cause atmospheric resistance. And if you only have 1 engine, it's not going to be able to slow you down. Even if you start firing the engine right at 10 kilometers and come down, you're not going to have enough power on that one engine to land with. So flipping sooner doesn't help. Is it normal to have fire in between the nozzles? Yes and no. The fire that we saw, it doesn't seem normal to me, but I'm not an expert on that, so take that with a grain of salt. It didn't seem normal. I don't recall seeing that last time, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Elder Drew, something flew away at the second relay. Everyday astronaut thinks it might be the turbo pump part. That could be interesting. Did we see that on, did Tim have that on his stream? Did he have a close-up view of that? Let me see. We could pull that up. Nomadic says, looks like turbo pump cavitation. Also, the sheriff's office is reporting debris in the water. Lab Padre, looks like pad B got hit with debris. It did look like debris was coming pretty close to the pad. Couldn't tell how big the pieces were, but it did look like a bigger boom than last time, specifically because it came in sideways, so it hit and then... Interesting. All right, I'm trying to pull up, let me pull up Tim's feed. I wonder, did Tim have somebody, who was that just sent me that super chat? Thank you, by the way, for the support on the super chat. I can show you Tim's feed if he's got a view of it. Who was that? Elder Drew. Sorry, I forgot your name already. I should have remembered. Elder Drew said everyday astronaut thinks it might be a turbo pump part. Did he have a view of that on his stream? Let me see. Give me a sec. Now my computer's not responding to me. There we go. Okay. I have way too many windows open. All right, let's see. I can kill off some of these windows. We're gonna kill that. We will kill that. Just trying to get rid of some of this stuff that we don't need anymore. Okay. Will human passengers feel sick during the flip? That's a good question. If you just have a static seat in there, probably. They probably would start to feel sick. But what you can do is have basically a gimbaled seat so that your passengers always face up. So when it's like this, your passengers would be on their back facing up. When it flips into its side, the seats could rotate. We're not saying, we have no evidence that they're actually doing this, but this is just a way that you could possibly handle this. So as it flips, your seats rotate with that flip and keep facing up. So the forces on your body are still the same. Then you fall like this, you're still facing up. And then when you do that flip, the seats rotate again, so you're still facing up. And then you come in and land. That's one way that you can handle that. We don't know if they're going to do that, but that's one way. That's one way they could do that, is by gimbaling the seats along with the flip so that the passenger stays in the same orientation and they don't have to be jostled around like that. Show the landing at 0.25 speed. Okay, sure. Playback speed. 0.25. Why not? We could do that. I like that idea. So this is at a quarter speed. We're slowing it down here now. Turn a little bit of music on just so it doesn't sound awkward. Something definitely flew out of the skirt area on relight. Is it visible in this camera? Somebody tell me how I can see it other than through Lab Padre, because I can't show you Lab Padre, but... If you look closely, you'll see something flew out. So is it in this view? So we're at 0.25 speed. Let me get in here. Test these eyes here. Do we see it in this view? I don't know what time the relight was at. I gotta turn down John Innsbrucker because he sounds like he's spent the day at the pub. Let's see. Nomadic sent me something on Discord. All right. Let me see what you got here. Oh, there you go. Scott Manley tweeted something too. There's debris. Is that nomadic? Is that... Oh, I see what that is. Okay, hold on. Wait. Oh, wait. I wasn't ready. Back it up. So here's the ignition process. Let's see if we can see anything in this view here. I don't see anything. Does anybody see it? If you see it, tell me a mission elapsed time. Something's at... Oh, right there. Right there. I see it. I see it. I see some debris. Look at that right here. Look at. Watch the mouse cursor right there. What's this? What's this over here? That doesn't look good. Use the Framrick, use the side carrots. It's funny, but you're right. I should use the side carrots. Here we go. All right, we'll use the side carrots. Thank you, Framrick. Here we go. Where is that coming from, though? Because I see, it looks like I see the debris. So I think, is this what we're talking about? Am I in the right neighborhood? Right here? This little piece? Is that what we're talking about here today? Give me a yay or nay. Is that part of the pump cowl? Looked like a turbo pump. How can you tell that from this imagery? Everybody's saying yes, 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 yes. Looks like one of the landing pad. Yeah, so here's what let's back this up a little bit. If we follow this piece of debris, which is a little bit tough to do, but it has a little bit of shine on it, so it's kind of right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. Back it up. It looks like it comes from the opposite side, but of course, I don't know, that means nothing. If the engine's trying to start up and something said no. But it does appear that we've got some sort of debris coming out right there. And I don't know, you guys are all saying that's part of the turbo pump. I don't know how you tell that. It just looks like a piece of shiny something to me. Let's see, can we see anything else in this view? Because we get you can get kind of a shiny, nice bright view inside the skirt area there. Oh, here's another, here's more. That looks like more debris right there. Look at this. Where did that come from? Here's some more right there. See you later. What's that? That looks like a pretty significantly sized piece right there. That's not a little piece of dust coming off. And then what's this shininess here? What's this? What is that? Oh. It's hard to tell. That looks like debris too. All right, switch cameras. Yeah, that... As soon as it got to this point on the flip, I was like, uh-oh, that doesn't look good. Do we see it in this camera angle? No, this is going to be too far away. Yeah, we got to come down. Comes in sideways. Boom! You can see this foil on launch inside the skirt. Oh, okay, yeah, that could be. I don't know why the foil would be breaking loose. Interesting. They're waiting too long. So Wayne says they're waiting too long to flip the vehicle. That's not it, Wayne. We kind of talked about this a little bit. You have to flip the vehicle at that altitude. As soon as you flip the vehicle, your terminal velocity is going to go up. So, like that is the physics calculation for where they need to flip the vehicle. But so if you flip it earlier, it's not going to do you any good if you don't have two full engines at full thrust. I bet that's why the camera's there, to see junk fly off. Well, that's exactly what the cameras are for, is to see. They're engineering cameras for the most part, and that's what they use these for. Is they probably have an even higher frame rate than we do, probably even higher quality, and they would evaluate. There goes debris off the left side there. Something there. Is it just foil? There you go. Something out of the flame over there. A little more out of the flame, looks like. And that could just be like the little foil protectant that's on the inside of the skirt, but then the question would be like, what caused the foil to break free? And then we get some big kabooms. I see, this is what surprises me about like why they had SN10 so close. Like, look at this debris. Look at this go flying. This is going a long way. I mean, obviously this is okay. You know, hopefully it's within the safety parameters, but you know, there's nobody here. There's nobody anywhere near this. This is why they evacuate the area. But I'm just wondering, like, why would you risk SN10 and put it on the pad? Like, that debris went along. I mean, they're kind of lucky that you didn't have a giant piece hit SN10, and I guess we don't really know if anything did hit SN10. Of course, we don't know if Elon's going to tweet today, because like earlier today, he said he was going off Twitter for a while. I hope it just meant for a few hours, not like I'm not going to tell you anything about SN9. All right, let me go back to Tim's stream. Did he have a view of it? Of something coming off? Let's see. I'm going to look at it on his view. I'll back this one up so you can see this. If he has a view of it. Oh, maybe he did. Yeah, you can definitely see it on Tim's feed. Let me we'll show you Tim's. This is Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. Definitely go take a peek at him. If you don't know who he is, you're really missing out. But it was right towards the tail end of this. So this is all liquid oxygen. So this is part of like the ignition. This would be engine chill and ignition process. So this is all okay right here. That's expected. Now they're trying to ignite the engines. That second one's not coming up. And then right at the end of this camera view, we fast forward, keep going, tick through, tick, tick, tick. Right at the end of this right there. You can see a little bit of debris coming through. Don't know what that is. And then he switched camera views, so you can't see. That's the best you got there. Let's see, did we, let me switch to here, and I'm gonna switch over to this view. Give me a second. Let me see if there's anything we can see on the NASA spaceflight feed. Let's go back over. Yeah, not much better of a view from NASA spaceflight, but it's about the same kind of deal here. As you see, you know, just like we got it here on the screen, is we're just seeing that little piece of debris. You get little puffs of that second engine trying hard to start, and it just doesn't want to do it. But yeah, those are those pieces of debris that we're seeing. Interesting. So yeah, it looks like we didn't happen. All right. Overlook horizon. Tim's slow-mo. Does Tim have a slow-mo feed? Did he show a slow-mo feed? Let me pull it up on my other monitor here first. Did he show a slow-mo version of this? Hmm. Is that what it looks like? That's what he's showing right now on his stream, is the slow-mo version. Let's see, if only SN9 had a parachute. Yeah, that's a problem. It's not something we'll see though. All right, let me trying to see if there's anything else, any other view that we have of it. There you go. Oh, here's Harley's Corners. Thanks for the super chat. Said Tim showed nice slow-mo camera replay. I didn't see it on his feed, but it's also hard to jump around in the middle of it like this. And I lost my window with Tim's stuff. Let me see. We back it up. How long ago did he show that? Couldn't have been that long ago. Oh, there you go. I see it. We'll pull it up here. Let me show you Tim's. Let me show you Tim's view of it here. Right? Let's see. Get over here. Right there. There it is. So you can see whatever that is in Tim's view. This is Tim the Everyday Astronaut. His YouTube channel. Definitely go subscribe to him if you haven't already. But yeah, he's got that view, which is kind of a nice. You get a little bit of scale there for what came off. And yeah, that looks to be what our I don't know, that's the leading contender for what could be the possible problem. All right, let me go back. I'm going to back it all the way up to the beginning here now, because now I want to hear that launch again. That's not the slow-mo, says Harley's Corner. Oh, okay. Well, there's your problem. Yeah, that's my leading contender for what the problem might be, but obviously we have no idea. Let me see. Let me look at Discord. Somebody in our Discord channel said that Eileen came to a perfect ending. So everybody's been calling SN9 Eileen because it leaned over in the assembly bay. So everybody's been calling it Eileen. And it kind of came to a perfect ending because Eileen still had the lean at ending. So Eileen didn't want to stay vertical there. Look at Twitter, Everyday Astronaut. All right. Settle down. I got it. Let me see. Don't yell at me. Let me see. Holy Twitter notifications. I got a lot of Twitter notifications. Let me see. Let's see if we can find this here. I'm gonna replay this in a minute. Oh, we're still at quarter speed. You know what? We're gonna go through and trying to take a look around Twitter, see what we can find. You guys all tagged me on Twitter. I'm trying to sift through my notifications here. I love it. But it's a lot to go through here. Give me a second. All right, hold on. I'm gonna let this play for a second. I'm gonna be right back. It's gonna be like 2 seconds. I'll be right back in just a second. All right, sorry. No, it wasn't somebody saying it's a bathroom break. It was not a bathroom break. It was a screaming children break outside my studio door. Let's see. Tim's remote cam showed a piece that's very large. All right, somebody, you're gonna have to send. I don't think you can send links or anything on here, but if you send me, if you tag me on Discord and send me a link, if you haven't joined our Discord, consider joining Discord. It's free. But if you send it to me on Discord and tag me in it, I might see it. I got way too many feeds here, so I probably can't. I can't see it, but I'm going to pull up. There you go. Somebody tagged me in Twitter. Brew, RPM Cloughlin 13 tagged me on Everyday Astronauts feed. Lots of debris. Yeah, that's the one we showed here. So this is Tim's. Let's see, how can I get this up for you? This was Tim's feed. This is from Everyday Astronauts. Right there, you can see the debris coming out. This is from Everyday Astronaut on Twitter. Some debris coming out right there, getting kicked out of the engine area. We don't know what that is, but obviously you can see that, and that doesn't seem normal. I don't like that. All right. Let me see what else we had here. And then I'm going to do a replay of the whole thing here in just a second, because that was pretty awesome, and I got to hear that sound again. Actually, why don't we do that? Because I can't talk over the sound anyways. Oh, here you go. Some people tagged me on Discord. What'd you tag me in? Watch the zoom in. Engine 49 had a turbo line fail on ignition, and that was the fire the whole way up. On the way down, the turbine pump cavitated and let go and spit out parts of the underside of the cowl. That's plates of stainless steel flying right there. Yeah, all right. That could explain why we had that fire on the way up inside the engine area. All right, while I look around for some other stuff, let's get a full-on replay going.
T-minus 2 minutes, continuing to count down.
We'll get a full-on replay with audio, because that was awesome. Let me give you your headphone warning here now. Let's fast forward this. Let's get it up here. This is your headphone warning, because it was crazy loud, and I'm going to crank it up because it was just awesome. It was awesome. Why did they say it was nominal? I mean, it's really tough to tell. I mean, they're going to look at sensors and pressures and things like that. I would think that they would have sensors and data to be able to detect stuff like that, but we don't know for sure. Like, they could have been looking at their computer screens and everything was nominal on the way up.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
right shows 3 Raptor engines burning. Everything continues to look nominal right now for the stage and for propulsion. Seconds into flight, everything continues to be nominal with Starship. We're just passing through 3-kilometer altitude. Next major event is shutdown of engine number 3. 2 minutes, flight continuing on Starship. As a reminder, this is a test flight to a 10-kilometer altitude. Engine number 3 shut down on time as planned. We're continuing to climb on 2 engines. Everything continues to go well with Starship.
Good engine performance so far. Shut down.
T plus 3 minutes, 20 seconds. We've shut down engine 2 on time. You saw that on the screen just a few seconds ago. Starship now climbing on the power of engine number 1, headed to the 10-kilometer altitude. T plus 4 minutes. Vehicle is at 10 kilometers. It is at apogee. We're continuing to throttle down engine number 1 to hold altitude. We're preparing for handover on the propellant tank. Four and a half minutes, we are handing off to the LOX tank. We are beginning to flip to horizontal. And the white cloud, the plume you were seeing was intentional. That is a liquid oxygen dump. We've now transitioned to horizontal and beginning the subsonic test portion of the flight, where we check out the aft and the forward flaps to hold the vehicle stability as we descend back to the landing pad.
I don't know if that's just a camera angle, but it looked like after that flip, like it looked super steep on the way down. Almost looked like it was dive bombing for a second. But it might be the camera angle, but look at it. It smooths out here and it's kind of coming straight. But yeah, it definitely looked like it was up here. It was kind of doing this, and then it was like, whoa, and dive bombed this way. It might have been trying to dive back towards the launch pad, because we did have, I'll show you the telemetry in a minute, our trajectory that we were expecting. But it looked like it had such a steep angle coming back down, and then it sorted itself out.
T plus 5.5 minutes. Starship continuing the subsonic descent. using the forward and aft flaps to control its attitude as we come back down to the landing pad. Everything continuing to go well in this portion of flight.
And there was definitely, right at this engine ignition, there was definitely some debris that was coming back out.
Land intro.
Saw at least 3 pieces come out.
Six minutes, 10 seconds into flight. We're down beneath 1.5 kilometers. We're preparing to restart 2 engines, flip the vehicle vertical, then transition to 1 engine for the landing burn.
There it is. There's the ignition. That second engine. Debris. More debris. That final papa when
Oh, I see. Let's get cameras up.
when it impacts the pad. That was
Rolling to anomaly
was
net,
intense.
opening 3.911 at this time. We will start sweeping for fires.
start sweeping for fires. Remember on SN8 they had there was a fire.
As you can see from
right
the
there.
scene, we had again another great flight up to the 10-kilometer apogee. We demonstrated.
All right, we'll turn that down here now. Well, there was, yeah, so I started saying on an SN8 they had a fire right by the tent there. And so that obviously they're going to sweep for fires now to try to put anything out that, and they do have, I think there's some water, like, I don't know what I want to call them, like water hoses, fire suppression system, it seems like that they had at the actual landing pad itself. So, did it miss the pad? No, it looks to me like it hits the pad. That pad is really close to the landing site, so it does. I mean, it looks like it made it on target. I'm looking at to see if there's any debris that we can see still in the air. Because I thought I just saw another piece come down, but yeah, look at all that. If we back that up to the actual kaboom. Look at the debris go. Do we see any splashes in the water? There's at least a couple of big pieces. One of them looks like it flew. One piece looks like it flew like over SN10. Like, hold on a minute. Back that up for a second. Look at this. Let's slow this down right here. Here's our impact. And you can see, like, look, you're going to see debris come flying out of this thing here. Couple of big pieces here, right? We got some right here. It looks like they're going up and over SN10. Hard to get perspective on that, but one of these, I mean, they might be going off to the side, but one of them, I think it's this one right here. Like, look at it, looks like it just clears SN10. Is that coming towards us or is that going to the left? Hard to tell. It does kind of look like it's going to the left, just based on the path that it's taking, but like, look at that's coming down like in the tank farm. But it looks like it kind of hit the pad. At least the bottom half hit the pad. Yeah, that piece of debris right there. It looks like it's going right into the tank farm. And then we got some other pretty sizable pieces up here that we can see from a distance. One of them, like this piece here. Back that up. That looks like a COPV or something that comes flying out right here. Right in this area. Oh, there it is, right there. That's the one I'm talking about. It's almost like a little mini rocket that came out of the debris. Watch this. Come over here. Like what? It looks like there's a COPV that breaks free. It's right here. It's gonna shoot. It's gonna shoot straight up. Right? Oh, right there. You see that? That's something under pressure. That looks like a COPV. A COPV would be a composite overwrap pressure vessel. So something with pressurized gas, could be nitrogen or helium, but it definitely, there's something that comes flying over this direction. I mean, here's all the debris, extra liquid oxygen looks like coming out, and then right here, it's like this little pew. Away it goes. Something right there under pressure. There's a pressurized tank breaking. What caused the green flash at the end? Is that in the... You talking about the green flash here? Right there? I think that's just like camera artifacting. I don't think that's anything. I think it's just the stream being weird. Because the stream kind of glitches for a second. You see how it stutters? I think it's just the bit rate on the stream kind of Interesting. What about it showed the debris from another angle? No SN10 strike. Well, that's good news. Yeah, I think What About It uses Lab Padre stream, so I'm not going to show that here. Not allowed to, but definitely check out Lab Padre. Nomadic says, I didn't see any splashes, but the Sheriff's Marine unit definitely reported debris in the water. Well, that's probably good, because that means it would only be small debris then. Nothing, not any huge pieces went flying way out to the ocean. This is the most difficult maneuver to perform with a rocket. Several companies gave up trying to make it work before Elon made a success with Falcon 9. Yeah, well, this is a lot different than Falcon 9. Falcon 9 doesn't do this flip maneuver. And the flip maneuver, what makes it so hard with the flip maneuver is like, you've got all, if you bring in the Falcon 9 comes in tail first. And so you're inherently going to get all the fuels as the fuels are coming forward with velocity, but the vehicle is slowing down from atmospheric pressure. And so your fuel's all going to slosh to the back of the bottom of your tanks where you can feed it into the engines. But the problem with the Starship is because it comes in like this, all your fuel is going to be along the bottom here. And so it makes it so much harder to feed fuel. So you have those header tanks, which if we look at Corey from Seabass Productions here, definitely check out his YouTube channel. He did this 3D rendering of the Starship. And so we can see, fast forward just a little bit, if we look inside the Starship here, you can see the liquid oxygen filling up. Right there's the header tank. So as you fill up the liquid oxygen, you've got this downcomer pipe right here, and that fills up the header tank, and then there's presumably some valves over here that fill up the main tank. This is the liquid methane tank, and then up at the top is another liquid oxygen header tank. And so those header tanks are what's used for the actual landing burn itself, because they can be completely full. You can deplete the main tanks, not the header tanks, and the header tanks will be completely full come landing time. So then the problem is, if we fast forward up here to apogee, and right here you get engine shutoff and the flip maneuver. Look at all the fuel right in that second, the main tanks there. The methane and the liquid oxygen just sloshes to the bottom like that. And you can't get that, there's no piping at the bottom, no plumbing. So you can't get that fuel back out the tanks. And so that's why you need those header tanks. So they do that transition while it's still vertical. That way you don't drain out fuel from the header tank. So they transition to the header tank briefly, flip, and then they got to make sure that the header tank stays pressurized. Right there. There we go. Let's back that up. So look you can see that fuel slosh right here. See it slosh during that flip maneuver. So what's the header tank at the top? That's the one for oxygen. So there's oxygen at the top, methane's in the middle there. So the liquid oxygen one is kind of weird because it goes all the way up to the very nose of the tank. So you've got your liquid oxygen header at the top. See how it's draining the liquid oxygen header? You can't really see the methane header very well. And of course, my frame is in the way for the liquid oxygen one. But watch the liquid oxygen one right here. You'll see it start to drain. As soon as it does the flip, look at it, drains really quickly. Drain, going down, down, down. So that's what those header tanks are used. That's what we had. That was the problem on SN8. We had the methane header tank it didn't pressurize enough, lost pressure. So that's why those are there. So How many test flights do you think the whole Starship process will take? I think they're planning, or they had budgeted for like 20 test flights or something like that. So this is only test flight number 2. I think they had budgeted, I think 20 was the number. I can't remember whether they budgeted 20 test flights or whether they budgeted up to serial number 20. But the number 20 sticks in my mind, and I think it's actually the latter now that I'm thinking about it. I think they budgeted to build up to serial number 20. Although that could be different now because now serial numbers, what is it, 12, 13, and 14 aren't even going to fly. They're going to do 9, 10, 11, 15. Because 15 has some major upgrades. We don't really know what those major upgrades are, but 15 has major upgrades, so. Wonder if SpaceX has several teams working on different serial numbers in parallel with different approaches. They do, in fact, because serial number 15 is already a more modern design. We don't know exactly what they've changed, but they did tell us that serial number 15 has upgrades, and that's already under construction. So yes, they are building in parallel. One Piece jets around like a tiny rocket going in circles. Yeah, that's that COPV that I was talking about. It was like, woo, came flying out of the debris. When will they launch SN10? He said this month, so we could see that in a couple of weeks. But I don't know. The question it's gonna come down to, now they got to do a mishap investigation, which again is normal. That's part of the FAA regulations. They have to do a mishap investigation. SpaceX would be the one to initiate a mishap investigation, which they should because they just conducted this launch. So SpaceX is going to conduct a mishap investigation. They have to report it to the FAA. Even though we all knew that this might blow up, they still have to report it to the FAA and be like, hey, remember that thing we told you that might blow up? Yeah, well, guess what? It blew up. And so then the FAA is going to say like, all right, well, how bad was it? Like, was it contained? Was it inside what we expected? Like, if you expected it to blow up and it to go, then you're like, all right, yeah, all right. So it went boom, safety measures work, we're good to go. But if you submit it to the FAA and you're like, yeah, well, if it blows up, we expect it to go, but in reality, it went, then the FAA is going to be like, okay, well, what you expected to work or expected to happen, it was a whole different story. We got to hash this out. So that's why, even though you're saying, like, I kept seeing this over the last couple of days, it was driving me crazy, but even though we all knew that it might blow up, even if it blows up, you still have to verify that the kaboom is the same size and expectations of the kaboom that you had in your simulations and your models. The fuel should be put into a vacuum juice pouch. That's exactly, I think that's the plan. I'm pretty sure that's on the engineering whiteboard. It's exactly what it is.
Space Lobster ate the T-Tub. That's the answer.
Verify the kaboom. Exactly, as Framrick said. You have to verify the kaboom. After kaboom, you need kaboom verification. How much does a Starship cost? We don't know. They haven't really told us anything about that. How long does it take to build a Starship? That's a good question. I meant to show, and I totally forgot about this before we started the stream, but let me see. Brendan, who makes some pretty awesome progress graphics, sent me one to show, but it was so long ago that I totally forgot all about it. Now let me see if I can find it. I can't find it now. Where is it? Where did he send me that? I can always pull it. He's got it on Twitter too. I could pull it up there, but he sent it to me so I could show you. I'll just pull it up on Twitter. Let me see. This is at Brendan2908 on Twitter. He does some basically current status graphics on and he posts them on Twitter. They're pretty awesome. So let's see. Let's see, zoom out. There There we go. All right, so here, this was the current status as of January 30th. So you've got SN9, which obviously we just saw fly. You had SN7.2, that's a little tiny test tank. They did do a pressure test on that. SN10, which is now on the pad. SN11, which is almost built. It's got to do, they were getting ready to stack it. They got to do the aft fins at the bottom there, the little flapper things, so they can do their flapper rating. Then they're going to skip 12, 13, 14, and they're going to go right to 15. 15 is going to, that's where they have done some major upgrades. So 15 is still in progress. They're already building 16 and 17, and it looks like 18's got just a couple parts. But then you got BN1. That's booster number 1. That's the big super heavy booster. That's the first stage. Remember, we just watched the second stage fly. This is the first stage. That's almost built. That's pretty close. They're stacking it, putting it together. That's gonna be something right there. And I don't know how many engines they're gonna fly on it. I've heard 4. That'll be interesting if they fly 4 engines on this the first time around. So yeah, that's the current status, and that's at Brent. I think I'm blocking it at Brendan2908. Get out of the way, I have an easier way to do this. I can just do it this way, like this. At Brendan2908 on Twitter. Go give Brendan a follow on Twitter because he makes these cool graphics. There you go. At Brendan2908. Thank you, Brendan, for letting us show that. Okay, well, let's see. What else can we... I think that... Oh. Okay. Lost that. Yeah, so... I think we're probably going to have to wrap up here for today because I got nothing left to show. And it was a pretty awesome flight. Has anybody got any closing thoughts before we wrap up for the day? I will say, if you're not on Discord, you should join us on Discord. It's free. There's no cost to it. You type, one of you, not everybody, but maybe one of my moderators can type !Discord in the YouTube chats, and our friendly Nightbot will give you a link to Discord, and you can join. So you can chat it up. If you're not familiar with Discord, it's like a big chat community. We chat it up on Discord, talk about all things space. That's how most of us were talking today as we were getting ready for the flights today, trying to get updates, trying to source some stuff and figure out what was happening for the day, as we were all chatting on Discord, trying to figure out what was up. So consider joining Discord because it's free. And I will also say a big special thank you to everybody that became a channel member here on YouTube or on Patreon. I saw some people do that as well. That's what makes all this possible. We are Overlook Horizon is a nonprofit. I get nothing from this. I make no money. It all goes back into the nonprofit. I know a lot of people say that. A lot of YouTubers say, I put it all back into the channel, but I literally, legally have to put it all back into the channel. I cannot take anything from this because Overlook Horizon is a nonprofit charity. So this is literally charity work. We're a 501c3 nonprofit charity, so none of it comes to me. And I like it that way because then I can just have fun. All right. Why don't we, before I wrap up here, I'm gonna check Discord, see if we have any parting thoughts, and I'll look at your chat, and I'm gonna replay this one more time. I know we keep replaying it, but that sound, man, it was just killer. Let's listen to the sound again. One more time, and then we'll kill it. We'll end it.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
seconds into flight. Everything continues to be nominal with Starship. We're just passing through 3-kilometer altitude. Next major event is shutdown of engine number 3. Plus 2 minutes, flight continuing on Starship. As a reminder, this is a test flight to a 10-kilometer altitude. Engine number 3 shut down on time as planned. We're continuing to climb on 2 engines. Everything continues to go well with Starship.
Good engine performance so far.
There we go. We're going to start up the hashtag for it. Now it's time to verify the kaboom. So that we can move on to SN10. So, on Twitter, tell me your excitement. Share me your clips, any debris that you see. Any cool videos or photos.
T plus 3 minutes, 20 seconds. We've shut down engine 2 on time. You saw that on the screen just a few seconds ago. Starship now climbing on the power of engine number 1, headed to the 10-kilometer altitude.
We need to... Now it's time to verify the kaboom and move on to SN10. That sounds like a... What's the guy's name, that did the football games, the football announcer?
T plus 4 minutes. Vehicle is at 10 kilometers.
Can't remember his...
It is at apogee. We're continuing to throttle down engine number 1 to hold altitude.
John Madden. That's who I was thinking of. Because that was...
Preparing for handover on the propellant tank.
I just keep, on the verify the kaboom, I keep thinking of John Madden where he... Kaboom! Boom!
4.5 minutes, we are handing off to the LOX tank. We're beginning to flip to horizontal. And the white cloud, the plume you were seeing, was intentional. There is a liquid oxygen dump. We've now transitioned to horizontal and beginning the subsonic test portion of the flight, where we check out the aft and the forward flaps to hold the vehicle stability as we descend back to the landing pad.
And the verify the kaboom just made me think of, because John Madden always used to say, boom, boom, tough acting to acting. John, didn't he do tough acting to acting? Wasn't that his commercial thing? I mean, he also did NFL announcing, but let's be like, that's what he always did. And boom, touchdown. It's a terrible John Madden impression, but it's the best I got.
T plus 5.5 minutes. Starship continuing the subsonic descent, using the forward and aft flaps to control its attitude as we come back down to the landing pad. Everything continuing to go well in this portion of flight.
Yeah, everything continuing to go well until about 10 seconds from now. One last time to verify the kaboom. Get some debris coming out, rated engine ignition.
6 minutes, 10 seconds into flight. We're down beneath 1.5 kilometers. We're preparing to restart 2 engines, flip the vehicle vertical, then transition to 1 engine for the landing burn.
Yeah, look at second engine doesn't start up. It tried. Threw out some debris.
see. Let's get cameras up.
Yeah. That's off nominal. That's what we call that.
Rolling to anomaly net and opening 3.911 at this time. We will start sweeping for fires.
Big bada boom. Oh, bummer.
As you can see from the scene, we had, again, another great flight up to the 10-kilometer apogee. We demonstrated the ability to transition the engines to the landing propellant tanks. The subsonic reentry looked very good and stable like we saw again last December, so we've got a lot of good data on flap control. And again, we've just got to work on that landing a little bit, but we'll find out from the team as they go through the data. We were in contact with telemetry all the way down. So all told, another great, and a reminder, this is a test flight, second time we've flown Starship in this configuration. We've got a lot of good data, and the primary objective to demonstrate control of the vehicle in the subsonic reentry look to be very good, and we will take a lot out of that. And with that, we're going to wrap up today's webcast. Thanks for logging on and watching, and we'll be back with another Starship in the near future.
All right, well, that's gonna do it for me. I think we're gonna wrap up here for the day. Got one last chat from Angel Asensio. Oh wow, Angel, that's so generous. Thank you so much. Angel said, I started following this launch since the 26th. Hold on, Angel, let me get this off the screen. So I don't want the ads and stuff or whatever that is. Let me go back to Angel. Angel said, I started following this launch since the 26th, and you are the one who got it right. Thanks. Well, thanks, Angel. That means a lot. Appreciate it. We're trying to... I know a lot of people wanted me to go live before this, but I really wanted to make sure... Like, I didn't want to waste people's time. I wanted to make sure that I thought it was going to launch before we started a live stream. And that's what we did today. Sometimes I get it wrong. Not every time, but we did today. It flew, we reached apogee, we did the belly flop, went up, down, tried to come over, we just gotta tweak that landing. It's not there yet, but we'll get there. We're gonna have another one. SN10 is already on deck. We don't know how much damage it got. Sounds like it might have had some debris that maybe hit it, maybe it didn't hit it. I don't know, it might be some minor damage. I'm still really surprised that they put it there, to be honest. I mean, I don't know where else you would have put it, because I think they needed the space in the assembly bay, but... I mean, they just put it out there, like, 4 days ago. Like, maybe wait 4 days? Till SN9 flies? I don't know. Especially if it's damaged, and now it's going to delay SN10 by 4 days. I mean, we don't know that for sure, but... If we just delayed SN10 by 4 days because we moved SN10 to the launch pad 4 days earlier than just waiting for SN9 to launch, it kind of seems a little bit weird to me, no? I mean, am I the only one? The only one that thinks that? So, I've noted in the previous SpaceX Starship launch, this is very happy how you handle things. Well, thank you very much, Angel. Really appreciate your support. They have to get this landing maneuver right to land about 10 of these ships on Mars before sending passengers. Yeah, they're going to have to get this landing maneuver right for the whole program to work, because it's supposed to be fully reusable. It's not going to work if they can't sort that landing burn out. I think they will. They were very close on SN8. Seems like less so on SN9. It didn't seem quite as close, since it kind of came in at an angle there. It just, I mean, that second engine didn't ignite, so it ignited, flipped it, and it came over this way, and there wasn't enough power left to flip it back. So I was trying, it just kind of came in. No good. Definitely seemed like something was wrong with the second engine, because the first engine seemed like it had full thrust, but the second engine, definitely not. And we need that second engine. So hopefully Elon says something. Tells us what happened. That would be nice. But... Alright, well, I think we had some fun today. I'm glad we finally got this launch out of the way. and it's happened. I wish it would have landed, but it did not. Hopefully SN10 is not too damaged, and we'll be right back at it. Maybe in a couple weeks. We got to verify the kaboom. Hashtag verify the kaboom. Send me anything you see on... Oh, that's too big. There we go. That's better. Hashtag verify the kaboom. Send me anything cool you see about the Starship launch on Twitter. I want to see it all. I'll look at hashtag verify kaboom. Or tag me. Either way. Whatever you want. You know how all this works. That's what it is. But I need to see somebody use verify the kaboom. I don't know why. I just like starting weird hashtags that only us insiders know about. Right? We're part of the inside club. It'd be just between me and you. Right? All right. That's enough. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I know everybody chatted a whole bunch, and it was really tough for me to keep up with chat today, but I will jump over to Discord. We'll chat more in Discord. You can tell me more, read through some more chat, have some more time. But, yeah, and Discord is free, so consider doing that. And we'll talk more. I think the next thing we're going to see is Starlink, not Starship. Starlink is now Thursday, I think. It was going to be tomorrow. Now it's Thursday. So I think right before we went live, I saw Starlink got pushed to Thursday. So hopefully we'll do this Thursday again. It's going to be super early in the morning. So stay tuned. I'll try to get up and do it, but I'm not happy about it. But that's it. All right. That's going to do it for me. My name's Tori. This is Overlook Horizon. That was a lot of fun. I can't wait till SN10. It's just awesome. All right. We'll see you over on Discord, everybody. Or maybe we'll see you Thursday for Starlink. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.